Now that you've turned 30, how do you think it will be different from your 20s? Everyone kept saying to me, just wait until you turn 30 and see what happens. Indeed. When I turned 29, I felt a sort of enlightenment in my thought process and an increase in my awareness. It was a time when I understood not what I wanted but what I didn't want. I was able to make clear decisions, and these decisions positively impacted my life. Emotionally, however, the situation is quite the opposite. I feel like I lived my 20s as if I were in my 30s, going through very heavy and painful emotional experiences. I can say that I constantly felt the need to stay grounded and in control. Spiritually, I feel like I'm experiencing my 20s anew. I feel lighter and more liberated. What is your most cherished childhood memory? During the transition from childhood to adulthood, are there any traits or habits that you look back on and think, "Oh, how I lost that"? Since I grew up in a very small place, I was raised very freely. I grew up in the streets, gardens, and trees. So every memory from my childhood is very precious to me. I had the urge to do whatever I wanted whenever I wished. I would jump into a new adventure or experience without question, without fear. But now, logic has kicked in, and that has changed. This is part of growing up, of course, but I wish I hadn't lost this aspect of myself. What are the aspects of yourself that you have managed to change, refine, or improve? I used to be extremely stubborn and would never back down. I've improved that aspect of myself. I was also very prone to leaving. If I found myself in an environment, relationship, friendship, or any kind of argument that I didn't want to be in, I would immediately want to leave, without caring about what was happening behind me. I used to say, "I'm leaving." But now I don't do that anymore, because I realized that leaving never led to a solution. I learned to stay and resolve issues. Do you know yourself? Are you clear about what you want and don't want? As I mentioned earlier, I know very clearly what I don't want. But I still don't know what I do want. This is because I always want to experience different things in life. Sometimes I want to take a turn in a completely unknown direction. Saying, "I want this" feels like restricting myself. I don't want to miss out on a feeling, pleasure, or perspective that might come up in the next step, and that I don't know about until that moment.